City of Lexington, as you know, is grappling with gun violence as well as an affordable housing crisis and a rise in homelessness. One local business owner says he is tired of keyboard warriors complaining about it all online.
Instead, though, he's telling us he'd really like to see people speak up and actually get involved in solving those problems. Post-pandemic, a lot of people had gone stir-crazy.
Lexington, we have problems.
Rock Daniels was looking for a place to connect with the community. It quickly turned into a way to spark discussions about social and safety issues in Lexington. He says he was tired of hearing people complain, but not offering up any ideas of their own.
But if you're not coming up to the table with solutions, then to me, I mean, you're just wasting your time. So what I'm trying to do is, now all my solutions aren't the best and brightest solutions, but they are conversation starters.
Through the power of social media and short videos, Daniels found a way to create a media think tank.
A lot of positive feedback. There's a lot of people in Lexington that aren't even aware of some of the problems that we have.
Some of the big topics are gun violence, affordable housing, and a rise in homelessness.
When I heard that there were 500 kids in our schools, when I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, that right there stuck out the most to me.
The amount of Fayette County public school students without a home became personal. He says it's an issue everyone can agree needs to be addressed.
We all want our kids to grow up in a community that is safe and nurturing, and we all want them to prosper.
His 10-year-old son, Grayson, made a passionate plea to city leaders about using budget surplus money to help battle homelessness.
To make sure that every child has a home and no one has to worry about where they will sleep at night.
They are issues that won't be solved overnight, but he says they are nonpartisan matters that require input from everyone who lives and works in Lexington.
There's no Democratic potholes. There's no Republican sewer problems. There's no Democratic gun violence. There's no Republican homelessness. You know, these are local issues.
Daniels is encouraging residents to attend your city council meetings, and if you can't go in person, you can always watch the meetings that are streamed online. He of course says you should stay engaged with your council members and let them know how you would like to see that funding used or how you think these issues can be tackled.